Hello class. I'm going to give you a little instructions on how to do the handout blood disorder genetic problems. This is a bit of review. Remember we watched Lorenzo's oil and how ALD, which is also a genetic disorder, was a sex-linked trait. What's a sex-linked trait? A sex-linked trait is going to be a gene that determines a trait. That could be, in this case, hemophilia, that's carried specifically on the sex chromosome of the human. So some nomenclature for you. Capital H is going to represent the allele or the form of the gene for normal blood condition. In this case, having proper clotting proteins, clotting factors they called. Now, this letter here is going to represent hemophilia. This is an allele or a form of a gene that causes a condition where the human is going to lack the ability to create proper clotting proteins, which can be a real problem, obviously, particularly if they're injured and bleeding. Clotting is the ability to stop bleeding in a natural way. A little review, if you remember, XX is going to be female, XY is male. And another condition to remember is this thing we call a carrier. A carrier in blood diseases, in this case, is a female only for this, where she has the normal gene and the hemophilia gene. But normal is what we call dominant, and she will in fact be healthy and she will not have hemophilia. However, in her gene structures, in her cells, she will have the X chromosome for hemophilia. If this occurs in her egg cell, she will transfer this to her offspring. So we're going to play around with that. I'm going to do problem 1 on the handout just for practice, and then you can go from there, use this as a model. They all work pretty much the same way. So the question asks for number 1, if a female is a carrier for hemophilia, if she's that condition, and she marries a man with hemophilia, what's the probability that she will have a daughter with hemophilia? Okay, let's figure that out. So we're going to make what's called a Punnett square. I know I use a ruler usually in class. I'm going to make a square like so, and I make a box like a window. And I'm going to write the 2 genotypes on the sides. I typically write mom on top. So mom, again, she is a carrier. So she has an X normal and an X hemophilia. Dad is hemophilia, like so. I recommend these 2 people don't have children, but anyway, this is practice. So what we do is we first do our crosses, and you can do your sex chromosomes alone first. So X and X meet in a box, XX, same here, and then XY meet in a box. When it comes to genetics, we always keep alphabetization just to keep so we all do the same thing. Now, we're going to do our allele crosses. So in this case, it's a big H and a little h, and little h, uh-oh. Then it's going to be big H and little h. You'll notice there's no hemophilia gene on the Y chromosome. It's only carried on the X. That's why we don't have any gene above the Y. Okay? So the question asks, what is the probability that she will have a daughter with hemophilia? Well, first off, how many out of the 4 are going to be daughters? These 2 here, right? So right away, 2 out of 4 will be daughter. And then how many will be hemophilia? Right here. Because she does not have the normal gene at all. This individual right here will be a hemophiliac. But the question's asking you the probability that they'll have a daughter with it. So it's really 1 out of 4. 1 out of 4, which is also 25% probability, right? Okay, here's a bonus question. What's the probability of having a male that's a hemophiliac? Well, this male will be normal. This male will be hemophiliac. So here, right here. So very similar idea. 1 out of 4, 25%. So really, they got a pretty strong shot here of the probability of even having any child with hemophilia is actually going to be 2 out of 4, 50%. So what that means in terms of probability is that anytime they have a child, they will have a 50% probability of their child having hemophilia. Okay? So that's the story. That's how you do your math. This gives you a pretty broad view. Do the problems. You can do them on the doc if you're real clever. Otherwise, you could simply do it on paper like I did and then take photos and hand it in. Okay? Good luck to you. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Adios.